Hello and welcome back. It's time for this evening's Focus. Today we take a closer look at the crackdown in Iran. This year's Ashura religious festival was particularly bloody in the Islamic Republic. Opposition protesters seized the opportunity to rally in the capital Tehran, chanting anti-government slogans, and the demonstrations turned into showdown with the security forces. As tens of thousands poured into the streets of the Iranian capital, the police fired tear gas and beat protesters with batons. At least 8 people were killed in the clashes. And today, Monday, the crackdown continued with the arrest of key members of the opposition. Among them, 2 aides to the reformist former president Mohammad Khatami and 3 close aides to Mir Hossein Mousavi, this past June's defeated presidential candidate. Now, the weekend's violence has been the worst since the post-election unrest in June. Before going on to interview our guests, let's look back on the few months of political crisis in Iran.
30 years after its founding revolution, 2009 has seen the Islamic Republic of Iran enter one of the most unstable periods in its history. In June, Conservative President Mahmoud Ahmadinejad was re-elected, but the results were contested, and the ensuing protests descended into violence.
This is not just some little group of people or motivated from outside. This is a real internal rebellion against the government, against the revolutionary Islamic governing system. A lot of Iranians are saying they don't want to live with this kind of political system.
There's been tension within the country, but also on an international level. US President Barack Obama gave Iran until the end of 2009 to unclench its fist regarding its nuclear program. Tehran insists its nuclear intentions are peaceful, but for the West, an element of doubt remains.
Our policies are transparent. If we wanted to build an atomic bomb, we would have the courage to say so. When we say we're not building it, that is the truth. We do not believe in nuclear weapons, and we fear no one.
Iran is facing additional sanctions for concealing the construction of a new uranium enrichment facility. Tehran's defiance could prove counterproductive for the Islamic Republic.
The Iranians are willing to respect the international rules of uranium enrichment and inspections and all that, and not creating weapons. They're perfectly willing to do that, but they want to be treated equally with other people. They don't want to be subjected to a colonial double standard, and this is why they are very defiant.
2010 will be a crucial year for Iran. 6 months after the elections, December has seen more street fighting and protest against the regime. Demonstrators show no sign of giving up.
Well, joining me now to discuss this political crisis is Borzou Daragahi in Beirut, Middle East correspondent for the Los Angeles Times and Iran specialist. Borzou, thanks for being with us for tonight's Focus. About the opposition movement, many of the opposition supporters this weekend were chanting slogans in favor of Mir Hossein Mousavi, who's June's defeated presidential candidate. So is the movement only asking for a reformist president, or are they asking for regime change altogether? In other words, do we have a revolution on our hands in Iran?
I don't think that we have a revolution on our hands. There are some elements within the opposition who are calling for more radical change, but those are, it seems to me that they are a minority. There's always been a certain percentage of people in Iran who have been opposed to the Islamic Republic, opposed to the Islamic system. Those people have definitely grown more vocal and more bold in recent months. But you got to look at the birth of this movement. This movement was born out of the civil society movement and civil society organizations initiated under the reformist presidency of Mohammad Khatami. Iran's authorities saw this trend, saw this